Cool. So my name's Brandon. I am the CEO and founder of Tether, and I'm the don't show me, tell me guy. So we're all about proof of performance, evidence, right? We're all here talking about how to design a healthy home, how to model a healthy home, but where is the proof that what you're designing or what you're modeling is performing the way you think it's going to perform? So Damon came in and gave a bunch of different requirements on what the super home determines or how they define a healthy home to be. Acoustic performance, thermal performance, visual performance, these things. But if you're just going to predict it to be true, how do you know it is true? Unless you're actually going to prove it. So this is our vision, this is Tether's vision to improve health, increase efficiency, and reduce the impact we have on our planet by providing the world's best evidence-based building performance insights and outcomes. It's a pretty ambitious goal for us. But before I go forward, what I want to do is actually try and turn this into an analogy, right? So I give you an idea of how we see this and how to explain it, I guess, in a better way. So the analogy is, why don't we have a Fitbit for our homes? So when you think about a fitness tracker, I've got one on my wrist, some of you in the audience may have one on your wrist. You use a fitness tracker to do things like track your sleep, your heart rate, sometimes your calories. It's all got to do with your body, right? But your body is no different to your home in some aspects. There's certain things that you care about, your health, your pocket being how much you have to pay, and the planet. Some of you care about how you impact the world around us. When you look at your body, you can care about things like your heart rate, the amount of calories that you consume in and out, if you care about your health and fitness, the sleep cycles, your exercise regime, your health goals. In the same way, from a home's perspective, you can care about environmental quality, you can care about air quality, power consumption, and water consumption. The house is a living thing, it's a living, breathing thing, just like you are. So if you use that as an analogy, from a health point of view, just as your body has health factors or functions to it, so your house has those same things. From a pocket point of view, or from a monetary perspective, you care about your gym memberships, you care about your health insurance, the food and supplements that you take, the cosmetic enhancements that you give yourself if you're so that way inclined, no judgment here. From a home's point of view, you care about your utility bills, you care about the maintenance costs and the building upgrades costs of those properties. From a planetary perspective, your body, you care about your dietary options. Are you vegan? Do you care about eating meat or not? Your transportation decisions, do you cycle to work or do you walk or do you take a car? How often do you fly? And your purchasing decisions, do they have an impact on our planet? In the same way, from your home's point of view, it has a carbon impact. The decisions you make in terms of the products that you use or how you operate your home has an impact on our planet that can be measured. The building materials we use also have an impact. So when you look at this from an analogy's point of view, we can measure the impact that we have on our body using tools, using data, but no one's looking at how to measure the impact our homes have and to prove and to improve what our homes do using data and technology. So this is where Tether comes in, and we, working with the super home movement and looking at a super home, we care about this feedback loop. In order to understand the body, you need to know who you are, right? So what's my weight, my height, what do I do, what goals do I have? In the same way, we need to understand the property itself or the home itself. We need to model it, right? So we need to understand the thermal envelope. We need to understand whether there's insulation in the floors and ceilings, what sort of windows it has. This gives us context. So when you're building a super home or when you're doing a super reno, building that context into the property allows us to then use data to make smarter decisions. We then have to put monitoring in. So you've now got the model, you put monitors in. That monitor is your fitness watch. It helps you decide or work out how that model is performing. If you've put double glazed windows in, what does that do? How does it improve the thermal efficiency of the house? Does it reduce my power bill? Conceptually, it works, but without monitoring, you don't know. Data-driven solutions comes out of it, and then you have to finance things and then update the model. So from a model's perspective, context is king. You want to create as much information about the model as possible when monitoring. You then want to be able to create some monitoring within the home. So we recommend an environmental quality sensor within the house to monitor things like temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide, light, sound, atmospheric pressure. You want to have an external sensor so you know how the outside is performing from a temperature and humidity perspective, and you want to know how much power the building is consuming. With internal environmental quality, external temperature and humidity, and power consumption, you can do a really good view of how that property is actually performing. So these data-driven solutions, what do they do? Why have this data? What can you actually use it for? You can use it to improve your health, because now you can make informed decisions. You can use it to reduce energy, reduce the financial burden on the house by increasing efficiency, decreasing the amount of electricity required or water consumption, those things. And you can save your planet by understanding how your actions impact the operational carbon of that home. So the data gives you the tools to make the decisions. From a finance point of view, once you know what's wrong, once you've proven what's going on within that property, you can then choose to make a decision to change it. If you've got single glazed windows, you can then decide to purchase double glazed windows. Put those double glazed windows in with low E, and then you can measure the impact of that and form a relationship with that purchase. Normally when you buy insulation or something, you don't actually have a relationship with that spend. That money goes into something that you can feel, but it doesn't become tangible until you actually have a relationship with that. And the way that I know that to be is through data and interactions with that data. A home is a symbiotic relationship. So the relationship that individuals have with their homes is symbiotic. You want to move into a place and you want to have a relationship with that. When you build a home, it can operate to a certain level, but it's like a racing car. Unless you know how to drive it correctly, you're just not going to drive it well. So you can either improve the car, make it faster, or you can become a better driver. But you're not going to teach yourself how to drive better without the data to be able to educate. And you're not going to be able to improve the car, for another analogy, without knowing what improvements to make, and data informs this decision. So I'm being rushed through here, so we'll just move. So what is a tethered superhome? Essentially, a tethered superhome is the model, what you create, the design around it. It's installed sensors. Those sensors will give you the understanding of how that home is performing. You then review the data to understand whether you hit the mark or not. If you haven't hit the mark, you can make some changes to make sure that you do hit the mark based on what you care about, your health, pocket, planet. And then you can add value. You can add value by interacting with the data, utilizing the data in a way that you see fit. And we can talk about different audiences and how that plays out. That's me. Thanks. Had to rush through.